Hi friends, I'm Urvashi and today in this video I'm going to be talking about Ketu's transit through Purva Ashada Nakshatra and what does it mean. So before I start, for all those who haven't subscribed, remember to subscribe and remember to tap the bell icon because only then will you receive any kind of a notification. We know that from the 8th of this month, 8th of May, Ketu is going to be transiting through Purva Ashada Nakshatra, entering Purva Ashada. It's going backwards. So through the last degrees of Purva Ashada, Ketu is going to start its transit towards the early degrees of Purva Ashada. So this is a very long transit from May 8th to the mid of February next year. And Ketu is going to be accompanied by Saturn. This is going to be a very, very close motion of Ketu and Saturn together. But this is going to be more in the end of June, towards the last days of June, around the 26th or the 27th of June to the mid of July, and again then towards the end of September, 26th, 27th of September to about the 5th, 7th of October, that the conjunction is going to be exactly on the same degree. So those days little more caution is suggested, is advised, but other than that, throughout they're going to be conjunct quite closely. The degree is just going to be a couple of degrees away. And so let's see what this means really. So first of all, I've already made a video on Saturn's transit to through Purva Ashada, and then I just did a video about Saturn going retrograde through Purva Ashada, so where I discussed Saturn's transit through Purva Ashada vis-a-vis your birth nakshatra. Birth nakshatra is the nakshatra that your moon is posited in at the time of your birth. So you can watch that video to know how this transit will impact from your birth nakshatra, whatever your nakshatra is. You could be born in Ashwini, Bharani or Revati or Pushya or whatever. From there, Saturn in Purva Ashada, Saturn could be in your birth nakshatra if you are born in Bharani, in the nakshatra of Bharani, in Purva Ashada or Purva Falguni, because these three nakshatras are ruled by Venus. So if you're born in any of these three nakshatras, and Saturn is in one of your birth nakshatras. If you are born in the Ashwini, Magha or Mool nakshatra, so Saturn is transiting through your Sampat nakshatra. So similarly, depending on which planet's nakshatra you're born in, Saturn and Ketu together are going to be in Purva Ashada from your birth nakshatra to a certain nakshatra, and they will impact you in a certain way. I'm not going to be repeating all that I did in that video. I'm going to give the link down below, Saturn's retrograde motion through Purva Ashada. You can watch that video to know how it will impact you from your birth nakshatra. But in this video, I'm going to just touch the basics of what this transit is about. So before I even come down to that, I'd like to clarify one thing. In Vedic astrology, your individual birth chart is very important. The promise in your chart and the dasha that you're going through is extremely important. Please don't watch any transit videos and expect precisely results accordingly. Otherwise, we just don't need individual charts. We could all just pick up a zodiac and then start watching any video, and we would expect those things to happen accordingly. But the reason why we have an individual chart is each one of us has a different karmic account, and we are to get the results accordingly. So everybody's result is different. But in these videos, in the transit videos, we can only stick to transits. So if you are undergoing a dasha of Saturn or Ketu, or if there is a serious affliction in your chart, bad promise, especially in the house of or in the zodiac of Sagittarius, because this is happening in the zodiac of Sagittarius. If there is an affliction in this zodiac sign of Sagittarius and this conjunction is transiting over that afflicted area of the chart, and the dasha also has a it's not a favorable dasha, then you may get certain negative results. If your the chart is quite good, the promise is all good, there are no such major afflictions, and your dasha, you're not even going through a dasha of Saturn or Ketu, you may not feel this transit much at all. So this transit is not happening in any of our individual charts. It's happening in the sky, in the natural zodiac. But if the dasha is there, if you're experiencing the dasha, if there is some kind of a promise, if the planets are transiting over some sensitive points, then you will feel the impact more. And what is the impact? It's not a positive impact. Saturn is a papa graha, it's a malefic. Ketu is also a papa graha. Ketu is a fiery planet. Ketu is exalted in Sagittarius. Ketu is very strong here, stronger than Saturn. So yes, Ketu will be stronger here in the zodiac. And also Ketu and Jupiter are right now in an exchange yoga. Ketu is the co-ruler of Scorpio. Jupiter is in Scorpio and Ketu is in Sagittarius. So there is an exchange yoga, leaving Ketu very strong. Ketu as it is exalted here. So definitely Ketu is very strong, stronger than Saturn. But Ketu and Saturn together is a very, very afflicting energy. Ketu is a lot of fire. This is a fiery sign. Saturn is air. So if you give a lot of wind to fire, then the fire kind of spreads. Plus such malefics together in any one sign would separate you from the softer things of that house, from the relationships of that house. So if the sign of Sagittarius falls in your 4th house, this could mean trouble to your mother. If you are a Virgo ascendant, if this happens in your 4th house, if you are undergoing a bad dasha, if there is a promise of trouble to your mother in her chart or in your chart, then she could be going through health issues. If this is in your ascendant, this could be trouble to your own health, and with such a close conjunction. If this is in the 7th house, this could be health issues related to your wife, to your children. So depending on which house this transit is happening and depending on your dasha, please, I'm saying this again, don't see it keeping your chart aside. You have to have your chart in mind when you're studying transits in Vedic astrology. So that is the first thing. Depending on the house it's happening, you could be, there could be health issues, there could be trouble to the softer things of that house, relationships, areas that those house suggest, like the 5th house is the stomach area. So if this is in your 5th house, if you are a Leo ascendant and this is your 5th house, and if there is promise in your chart of trouble related to stomach and you have the wrong dasha, then you will have that trouble in this dasha. So that's how it works. But on a mundane level, on a larger level, this does show trouble on a global level, where ethics and morality are concerned, where religion is concerned, where higher values are concerned, travels and journeys are concerned. So there can be a lot of stress, there could be a lot of fire, there could be a lot of anger issues, because also we have Rahu and Mars conjunction in diagonally opposite in this house in the sign of Gemini. So that all could be happening. Since this is happening in the nakshatra of Purva Ashada, this also signifies that Venus, houses related to Venus, that is Taurus and Libra, wherever they fall in your birth chart, there could be trouble related to those houses. If the promise is there, I'm going to say it again and again and again, because when people ask this did not happen, then you have to explain that the promise also had to be there in the chart, the dasha had to be supportive. So transits only work if the rest of the paraphernalia is there. So it could be trouble related to Venus, relationships, comfort, enjoyment, vacations, holidays. Again, the 9th house, travel, vacations, holidays, Taurus and Libra sign. Okay, so it could be trouble related to that. Stress and strive and struggle. That is what this conjunction suggests. Stress, strive, struggle. Lot of fire and lot of wind that helps spread the fire. Ethics and morality in question. Higher values in question. This is on a mundane level. Now for certain zodiacs it's not so bad. For Cancer it's in the 6th house. For Libra it's in the 3rd house, and for Aquarius it's in the 11th house. For them it's not so bad because these are the houses of growth. But again, in the 3rd house for Libra, if the promise is there, then the siblings and the relationships with the neighbors and all, there could be some kind of a stress. If the dasha is there, if the promise is there. Houses of growth, houses where your free will can be used to bring about changes in your life, and this kind of an energy helps you make that kind of an effort. So depending upon the promise of your chart, depending upon the dasha, you will get results. But I would still say be a little cautious if you're traveling, because the natural 9th house suggests long journeys. So the house of long journeys is under a lot of stress right now. Not be too hung up on your religious thoughts, traditions, beliefs. Not be too adamant and ready to get up and fight regarding your traditions and beliefs and religions. Don't be like that. Be a little more open. Take the back foot. Don't take the front foot where these things are concerned. Just have a kind of a laid back kind of an approach. It's better to stand back and analyze the situation rather than react quickly. And regarding things that Venus signifies, which are relationships and the zodiacs of Taurus and Libra. So business, there could be some trouble related to business or to relationships. And last but not the least, which I feel is important, this could be like a reversal of events, because Saturn is also going retrograde in Purva Ashada, and Saturn transiting over Purva Ashada in the direct motion suggested that we start building, it's called, Purva Ashada is called the initial victory. When we start moving towards victory, when we start moving towards our goals, when we start building something for ourselves and we start feeling good about that, that movement towards the right direction. And now Saturn is going retrograde in that very nakshatra along with Ketu. Ketu suggests reversal sometimes. So this could be like a reversal of fortune. Unexpected changes may come about that you may not have expected. So like I said, lying low and watching the situation, taking a back foot makes a lot of sense at this point of time. You can also watch that video where I've talked about this transit of Saturn from the birth nakshatras, because like I said, both are malefics and both would give kind of similar results. This would be almost double the impact. You can watch that video. So this could be a reversal of things a little bit. Could take you backward, where you would have to, as it is Jupiter is also retrograde, where you would have to review certain things that you started a while ago and maybe come up with better options. But on an everyday level, it's not that big an issue really. If the promise is right, if the dasha is right, then you may not feel this transit too much. But I would still suggest certain cautions. Don't get too uptight about your ideals, about your traditions, values. Don't be out to go, run, fight, be offensive. Be careful when you're traveling, taking long journeys. That is another caution. About higher education, there could be a break in education, especially if the promise is there in the chart. I'm saying this again and again because I had this long discussion with somebody today, and I don't know how much of what I said he understood. The promise has to be there in the chart. The indications are there in transit. But if the promise is not there, then why would it happen? Because your chart is your individual chart. But generally, trouble could be in these areas, and trouble could be with the planet Venus and with the zodiacs of Taurus and Libra. So that is all for now in this video. I hope I could put my thoughts across. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.